Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm back with another band's You Need to Hear recommendation. Another band, if you haven't come across this one before, then you really do need to check them out. So, today's band that you need to hear, kind of sticking with something that I've been doing for the previous few episodes in this series. Going with a band that only has a couple of releases, one EP and one or demo release, and then one full-length album. But I only have this band's releases on tape. No CDs, no vinyls, just good old-fashioned tape. And the band in question is Sijjin. 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 Not sure if that's the correct pronunciation, but this band has been around since 2019, I believe. I think they're an international outfit between Germany and Spain. A three-piece, a power trio of good old school death metal. More death thrash, to be more specific. It's very much rooted in old school death metal. Certainly there's a whole lot of love and worship of the classic Morbid Angel sounds here. It's quite apparent from within the first few seconds of listening to these excellent releases. But they are a great band. So Sijjin, only the two releases, as I say. We've got the Angel of the Eastern Gate demo EP. Not a very long release. I think it's 4 tracks in total, 4 proper tracks, or 4 or 5 proper tracks. Less than 20 minutes long. But we've got it here presented in a very nice cassette format, courtesy of, you guessed it, Darkness Shall Rise Productions. I've been singing the praises of Darkness Shall Rise Productions for a little while now, and with good reason, because I've already shown off recently those Concrete Winds and Venenum tapes that they've done. They've done a great job on these things. They're really high quality, nothing overly complicated or technical, of course. This is good old school tape. This is cassette tape. But what they have done is they've produced these really nice packages, really high quality inserts. It's not flimsy, it's not a kind of DIY aesthetic here, but they've done a really nice job with these reissues, and they've reissued so many bands, so many albums. It's fantastic. But we've got the Angel of the Eastern Gate release. Cool artwork there. Very kind of like the classics. Awesome stuff. So this release, pretty short and sweet, but after the introduction piece here, Introcantation, very interesting, which is basically just some sort of chanting. It's pretty creepy stuff. But then we're just launched into pure Morbid Angel worship. Well, I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, but Vorigo of Adulam, which is brilliant. It's full of those decent shuggy riffs. We've got some pretty gruff death growls, good old guttural stuff. And we've got some driving drums. Perfect. We've got the full recipe there. It's solid, weighty riffs, good musicianship though. I wouldn't say that this is, sloppy or fast and loose by any means whatsoever. It's good, heavy stuff. Well executed, well performed. And that is a good introduction. And I really would say, if you dig good old Morbid Angel, let's go Altars of Madness through Covenant, that kind of period, you're gonna enjoy this. But also, if you enjoy good old school Gorguts, maybe a little bit of Obituary, Deicide, that kind of Florida death metal sound, then you're gonna appreciate this. But I would also say that Sijjin is quite thrashy. There are some pretty thrash riffs there, guaranteed to appease a good old Slayer fan, for example, such as myself. Second side is really good. The Angel of the Eastern Gate is a really great track. Remnants of Cambrian Evil, Fire on the Altar of Hell. great track titles. Killer stuff. Just really short and sweet, pretty stripped back old school death metal, but done well. So that's the demo release. I want to say it's around 2020 or 2019. It might be the same year they were kind of put together. But then they've got the one debut album. This is Sumerian Promises. This was released in 2021. Again, a lovely cassette tape package that we've got here, courtesy of Darkness Shall Rise. Not much that you can fault these with. They're high quality, nothing flimsy about it. But this album, this steps up a gear. So the sound is much clearer, much better, even for good old school cassette, that analog style. It does sound notably improved, but also I really do think that this old school murky death metal sounds brilliant on tape. That old school analog style, it really does work. It perfectly complements the rather tasteful death metal that we're getting here. This is learned death metal when you think about some of these aesthetics and lyrical themes and concepts. So we've got Sumerian Promises. We're delving deep here, and this is pretty evil stuff, I would say. Into, of course, side A and side B, or death and metal. We're greeted by some excellent tracks here. So there are a few familiar sounds, such as Angel of the Eastern Gate makes a reappearance in a slightly different form on this album, but we've got some cracking tracks. Dagger of a Thousand Deaths. The Sumerian Promises is really catchy, and I'd say there's a little bit more of the kind of death thrash style coming through here. There aren't too many other bands that I can really think to throw a likeness to, but if you like your thrashy death metal, I don't know, there's so many different examples. Necromantheon, that kind of stuff where you've got good old death metal, but it's very thrashy. Maybe not very thrashy. Somewhere in the middle. But this is a great album. Great side A there. As I say, title track Sumerian Promises is really good, as is Angel of the Eastern Gate. Regardless of if it's familiar or not, it really is just screaming Altars of Madness. The resemblance is almost uncanny. But for myself, a big Morbid Angel fan, and actually in recent months I've been really enjoying revisiting that classic David Vincent era, and for me this is pretty perfect. This really does tick all the boxes if you're a fan of that. And as I say, good old school Gorguts as well comes to mind. Deicide, Obituary. Second side, metal, kicks off with Unchain the Ghost, which is brilliant. Bit of an album highlight. Really strong, some cracking riffs here. Again, the musicianship is really quite good. You can't pick too many holes in it. Some great leads. The vocals are good. There's a likeness there. There is a little bit of a likeness to Vincent and Tucker, in fact, but not overwhelmingly so. There is still a distinction there, definitely. Other great ones, we've got Darkness of Sakara, White Mantras Bleed from Black Magic, Outer Chambers of Eternity, Condemned by Primal Contract. All good titles and all good songs, actually. I think there's a decent flow between these tracks, as opposed to maybe the first side where you've got kind of like intro and outro. This is just solid hit after hit. So the lineup here, as I say, this is actually a three-piece. So we've got Ekates on rhythm and lead guitars. We've got Ivan on drums, and we've got Malti, not sure, on bass and vocals. All good musicians, I would say. That's, they look the part, sound the part as well. Old school, evil incantations they are. Maybe incantation is a good reference point as well, although they are obviously considerably doomier. So, not much to go on here in terms of releases, but what we do have in terms of the EP demo, Angel of the Eastern Gate, is we have a really strong introduction to the band. it's good. It's going to appeal to the fans of the old school. But actually, this debut is really strong. And I think from doing a little bit of research prior to doing this review, I believe that they are in the process of, or maybe they've just completed, working on their second album, their sophomore album. So album number 2 should be descending upon the unprepared masses at some point, hopefully within the near future. That would be great. And I really do enjoy these 2 releases. I think they're really solid. Certainly, if you can get hold of tape copies, I don't know how difficult it is to get hold of these now. I picked these up a while ago, and they would have featured in some form of unboxing review that I did at some point. But these do really work. If you can pick up the tapes, then I would certainly recommend it. You can probably get the CDs, I should think, but Sijjin or Sijjin, I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's one of those J is a Y sort of situations. Sijjin, I'm not sure. Apologies if I'm getting that totally wrong, but to me it's Sijjin, and great logo, I would say as well. That is also a very eye-catching aesthetic there. They've certainly got the iconography down. It's evil sounding stuff, evil looking stuff as well. 2 really good releases, guaranteed to satisfy fans of good old Morbid Angel, as I say. But also if you like a bit of tasteful, easy to headbang along to and enjoy, easy to digest death metal, then you're gonna dig Sijjin. So my friends, what are your thoughts and opinions on Sijjin? Have you heard of them? Are you familiar with these releases? If you're not, do a little bit of research, check it out. No doubt you can find it on Spotify. No doubt you can find it on YouTube. Obviously, this is the Darkness Shall Rise Productions reissue on tape, but it looks like they were originally released under Sepulchral Voice. So Sepulchral Voice, another great label. Maybe, I don't know, maybe on their channel or their page, whatever. Check it out. Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others on this one. Of course, this is not as fast and chaotic as Concrete Winds, recently spoken about, also from Germany, but certainly nowhere as technical and progressive as Venom, who I've also talked about recently. It'll be interesting. I'll see which bands I'm going to recommend next based on the tapes that I have in this collection, this ever-growing collection. But as I say, check out Sijjin. Let me know what you think. Well, thank you very much for watching, my friends. Hope you've enjoyed this humble review and recommendation. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. The support is very much appreciated, as always, so I'm very grateful for that. Do check back soon if you fancy some more interesting recommendations and band suggestions. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, support metal and stay heavy.